Welcome back. We are coming to you again after a brief hiatus, live in the 325. Man, we're coming to you from the storybook capital of America. Ben, don't drop your phone. We got to call Big Frank in a minute.
That's right.
So we're doing this crazy wintry mix-up mashup today with my co-producer and other channel host, Ben Fair, with the Breakdown with Ben. That's why we used his intro today. We have got Sam Wolf, our amazing producer extraordinaire, shoveling snow back there
Quite
in the
literally.
technical booth.
And figuratively.
It has been a really interesting morning to reboot live from our new setup. We've taken the last 2 weeks both for the breaks, but also to rearrange and clean up and reorganize. And so now we have this amazing stage set up in the Neon Parrot Studios. And Ben, take it away from me. I'm just going to keep introing.
Oh,
we need
yeah.
to call Frank.
No, that's great. Yeah, we actually are having snowfall here in Abilene, Texas, and we've talked before about what that means for the community of Abilene.
It shuts down.
Because Travis has had members of the city council, people like this that have been on his show, and this place almost shuts down. If there's a whiff of
there's a smell of
snow or ice. So that's why we're doing this today.
Yeah, and I had a wonderful guest plan for today. We're going to get him back on the schedule. So be excited for Jeff Bell. He will be coming hopefully maybe in February now, and hope maybe we'll have snow again in February. You never know around here.
That's right. Yeah, so we're going to do a little breakdown. And then we're going to do some kind of Travi Wavi type stuff.
And hopefully share with you guys kind of what our journey's been like to get to today and some of the challenges. And anyway, let's get Big Frank on the phone.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do our breakdown segment of our show today, and we're gonna get it done early. And man, in the football realm, we have a crazy weekend coming up. We have college football playoffs. Semifinals tonight and tomorrow night.
How did ACU do overall for the season?
So ACU did fantastic. They made it to the first round of the playoffs, and I believe they got knocked out in the second round.
Okay.
But farthest the school's ever been in the history of the school.
Let's go Cats.
So go Big Purple. And our Maverick MacGyver, our quarterback, he jumped right into the transfer portal after that game. So he will be going to, I believe it is Eastern Kentucky for his senior year.
Nice.
But that's just an example of, at our level at ACU, who just joined basically a Division I conference. And it's on the lower end, but or the beginner's end, you might say. But it's still Division I, and it's FCS. And the team that knocked them out of the playoffs, North Dakota State.
Fargo.
Yeah, and I believe that's where it is. So North Dakota State, the team that beat ACU in the playoffs, ended up going to and winning the national championship of the FCS. If I'm not mistaken, I was watching the other game the other night. It looked like they were going to win. But anyway, so that's saying something that the team that won was the one that knocked out ACU, and ACU is kind of handling everybody else throughout the season. So who knows what this offseason will do to bring in new people from the transfer portal.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can just keep this talent moving and moving. But that's kind of my ACU talk. That's good. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
But ACU's just got a bright future ahead, and it's going to be great.
Good. Let's
and
get
now,
Big Frank on the phone.
Yeah, we got NFL to talk about, and that's what we're going to talk to Big Frank
And then I have one more bit of college football to throw at you.
Yeah.
So my sister, you've met my sister, and her boyfriend David.
Yeah.
And David's been coaching his nephew, Devin Robinson.
Okay.
Out of the Houston area.
And
he's been scouted by a lot of good schools.
Nice.
And I think he just accepted a scholarship to Stanford.
Oh wow, that's great.
Yeah, yeah. I want to say he's a. I don't want to give his position away and misspeak, but
Yeah, no,
anyway,
that's really
Devin
exciting.
Robinson, look out for him next year.
Yeah, there's some Andrew Luck, I believe, and he went to Stanford, and he is now. So Andrew Luck was a great quarterback for the Colts and kind of retired early. Anyways, but he is now the basically general manager of the Stanford football program,
Oh, right on.
and so, and he's a smart dude, like real smart, and he was a great quarterback also, but with this NIL stuff and the money and everything, they're like, we need a general manager now. We
Mhm.
don't just need an athletic director,
Yeah, yeah.
And so the fact that he might be going to Stanford is super cool
That's
because
cool.
he's going to be entering in like a brand new phase of Stanford's existence, probably as a football
Be
program.
pretty cool.
Would
We'll have to
be
keep an eye on that.
So
Yeah,
way to go,
yeah.
nephew.
Devin
But,
Robinson, keep your eyes and ears open for him.
Yeah, so now we're gonna get to the NFL, and I'm gonna get Big Frank on the phone,
Big Frank.
and then I'm gonna adjust my microphone to make all this work, and we'll see what we can do. Hey, Big Frank, how are you?
I'm doing fine, Ben. How are you?
Man, I'm great. We're actually we're getting snow here in Abilene today.
Well, you should be joining our weather up here. We're not getting any snow, but it's about 10 degrees.
Oh wow!
Hey,
You
Big
guys are
Frank.
getting a tad of that, so
Absolutely.
weather.
Well, you're on with me and Travis.
Hey, Big Frank.
What's up, Travis? How you doing?
Man, I'm awesome, brother. Good to hear from you.
Nice. Happy New Year, everybody.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So I was gonna see if we could talk a little college football to start.
All right.
So we've got Notre Dame at Penn State tonight. Who do you like in that one?
I like Notre Dame.
Me too.
I think Notre Dame. I think it's going to be in the final. I think it's going to be Notre Dame and Ohio State. But I just like the way Notre Dame's playing.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Penn State, they're tough, but they always, I don't know, they just never seem to win the big one, and it's a neutral site, tonight. So I think it's Notre Dame tonight.
Yeah, I like that pick myself. And then
Let's go Irish.
Ohio State and Texas is tomorrow evening. And I kind of who do you like there?
Well, I like Ohio State. They've rolled. I thought Oregon, going in was probably one of the top teams in there, and they just really destroyed them. I'm sure everybody has an off day sometimes, and maybe Oregon can say they weren't ready for it or whatever, but they sure look good on both their games. So I think they could be tough to beat if they play like they played against Oregon. Man, I don't know. I don't know who could take them. Although that's hard to repeat that performance, though. You know what I mean? They played good against Oregon, about as good as you could play, and then going up against Texas, I don't know if they can dominate like that. But I still think they're the better team.
Nice. Heck of a deal. So moving into the NFL, let's talk. I heard that the Bears asked permission to interview Mike McCarthy, and Jerry said no. So I think you lucked out on that one personally.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know. Listen, I'm a Mike McCarthy fan. You know what I'm saying? Listen. They always say he hasn't had success in the playoffs, but as far as like a Bears fan, I'd love the fact just to be able to get in the playoffs. You know what I mean? This guy, and you can't. Excuse me. Injuries just can derail you, and there's been some teams this year that were devastated by injuries, and Dallas, I believe, was one of them.
Yeah.
And to still be playing relevant up until the last game or two of the season, and you're making the playoffs before that. I mean, he definitely I think knows what he's doing. I'm a fan. I tell you what, I wouldn't be upset if we were allowed to interview him and allowed to come here, because I think more than anything, that's what we need. Is we need somebody that's had experience running a team, and that's been good. The big names down here are Mike Vrabel. He's actually interviewed yesterday.
Ah.
I'm another big fan of, and today actually, Pete Carroll is in town. They said he's interviewing today.
Now that would be pretty cool, actually. Everybody, just like with Belichick and Pete Carroll, everybody's like trying to put him out to pasture. But Pete Carroll like still surfs every day in the summer and stuff. Like I think he's got plenty of energy to come make some noise somewhere for a couple of years. You know what I mean?
Absolutely right. I would not be objected for that at all. Obviously the big name down here is, and they've been on a hot streak the last couple of years, is Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator from Detroit.
Yeah.
Which they would say would help develop a quarterback, but head coaching is tough. I think I think a prime example is I think we sometimes just focus too much on, well, we got to get this guy, get the guy in here that can develop a quarterback.
Right.
Okay. Prime example is look at Cincinnati with Joe Burrow this year. Now they've got the quarterback there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Should be the MVP, of the league this year with his numbers. But if you don't have a defense, I mean, they have to score 30 or 40 points a game to win because their defense was giving up, 5 or 6 more than them. So there's a team that's got the quarterback down and offensive down with all these receivers, but yet they're losing all the time because they don't have a defense. It's a team thing. You know what I'm saying? And
it's a team thing.
The quarterback is probably one of the the positions you have to get right. But man, you could have that position right, and then if you forget about everything else, I mean, you could be on the outside looking in. I still think defense is important, to win, and that's a prime example right there with Cincinnati when they're averaging, like 30, 35 points a game, and they lost 8 games this year.
Yeah, yeah, and the thing that makes me nervous about Ben Johnson is, just because it's an offensive coordinator that's good with quarterbacks, like you're saying, a lot of these guys aren't actually head coach material, which is the whole picture, is I think kind of what you're saying too, right?
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. Especially, I just look at our franchise. You've been reading all kinds of stuff. Other than, and even Mike Ditka never was a head coach before those times. We've never hired anybody here when we needed a position other than John Fox. A few years was a failure. He was the only one that was a head coach before. Everybody else was always a hotshot coordinator or the up-and-coming one. And, everybody's trying to get the next Sean McVay or, the guy at Green Bay, his name escapes me right now, LaFleur.
Yeah.
And then, the guy out in San Francisco, too. The next hot coordinator that has really become a good, coach. But I think those are a few and far between.
Absolutely.
That are just, I tell you what, I'd love to have Mike Vrabel up here. I really would.
Yeah, that would be a culture change. He's a culture changer guy, like Dan Campbell to me, like with the Lions. I just think if Robert Kraft wants Vrabel, I think he's gonna get him.
Yeah, that could be correct too. And these head coaches, I mean, they're always losing coordinators because if you're doing good and you're successful, you're going to get a shot. So it's how do you replace them? So you replace them because it's your system that is working. And then the next guy up can help bring what you're doing along with the winning with winning ways and stuff like that. So that's what I would hope would happen. Over here, we've decided to continue to stay with our GM.
Right. Yeah.
Ever, I mean, he was responsible for the last ones, so I don't know. You hope they get it right. They think that they are going to be able to get it right, and we'll see over here. I'm cautiously optimistic.
Absolutely.
They're going to do over here. So
heck yeah, and then my Raiders fired Antonio Pierce, and
correct.
Which I don't know if I love that because he was only there for a year, it was a mess. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. See, there's another one where you don't have a quarterback, but you got to get that right. But you got hurt with injuries too. Crosby, one of the better guys in the league, he got hurt. Um, so then you play in a tough division. You got to play Kansas City. You got to
Yeah,
play
man.
San Diego and those guys. So that's like us here in the North. You got Minnesota, Detroit, Green Bay all the time.
Yeah.
You're lucky if you could split those games and things like that. So yeah, it's tough. I think there's like 6 or 7 head coaching jobs. And
Yeah, it's going to be pretty crazy to see what the next month or so looks like with the coaching carousel. So to get kind of close to wrapping it up here, I would like to talk about these first round of games that are coming up this weekend. And we've got, a question for Big Frank's take on the Steelers Ravens. The Ravens are like 9.5-point favorites. And I understand that, but my boy being a Steelers fan,
Gotta go Steelers.
It's just like what I mean. Do you think Lamar and company just come out and smoke them, or what do you think?
yeah, I don't know about that. I've been watching the Hard Knocks in season 1 too.
Yeah,
And the Steelers are always good, but man, they seem to be. It's like whoever gets hot at this time of the year, and they just seem like they're on like the downside now.
yes,
And then you got to go back in and play the Ravens again, which this will be the 3rd time
yeah.
this year. And I don't know, are they 0-2 or are they 1-1?
I think I think they won the first game.
Okay.
They could be 1-1, but I could be wrong about that. But I want to say they won the first one.
Yeah, so it's pretty tough. I mean, I don't know. I think that's a big point spread. I hate picking games against the point spread.
Yeah, that's tough.
I just like who's going to win, who's not going to win.
Yeah.
Baltimore is the better team, and it's just Pittsburgh just hasn't really looked good lately.
Yeah, I think you're right. They do look tired, and I think the shine of Russell Wilson, he really played great there for a few games, but I mean that's a 4-game losing streak now.
Yeah, and he's just like showing his age. You know what I mean? And here again, you got Justin Fields. Why isn't you're not going to make the move now?
Yeah.
But it's like do you do something for him too to try to get him going and things like that? So I don't know. They just seem to be really playing. Not as good as they can. I don't know if they have as many weapons, on offense. So I would have to say I'm leaning more towards Baltimore right now.
I think you and me both got Baltimore to win that game for sure. The next one that interests me, obviously, are the Packers and the Eagles. I kind of feel the same way about what you're talking about with the Steelers, a little bit about the Packers. I don't know. What do you think about that game?
Yeah, well, I think Philadelphia is going to win that one too. They you get that last year-end game things where do you play players or you don't play players? Okay, so really Green Bay was only playing for seeding last week when we got the miracle down here when we actually beat them, but they got banged up. They lost their receiver. And he tore his ACL or something like that, so he can't play.
Yeah.
And Jordan Love is still dealing with a sore elbow.
Yeah.
That he hurt, from that game. I was reading in the papers today down here in the news reports. So they're kind of banged up. So I like Philadelphia. I think with Barkley and them running the ball,
yeah,
they can ball running again. And I heard that Hurts is starting to practice, and he's going to be able. I think it'd be a little bit of a different game if he couldn't play because of that concussion protocol. But he's out of concussion protocol, and they said he's practicing. So
nice.
The rest up. So they rested everybody last week when they didn't have to play anybody. So I'm liking the Eagles in that game.
Perfect. Hey, is it true? I believe Jenna told me one time that you and your son went to a Philly game, like in Philly. Is that true?
Yeah. He works for a company that is based out of New Jersey and Philly, and they're huge sports fans down there. So the last time we were in the playoffs, the double doink game against the Eagles, a bunch of his execs came up from Philly, and we had a great tailgate, with our truck and everything, and we all got tickets to the game and sat obviously different places. But when the double doink hit, it was like total disaster. And so the schedule came out the actual next year, and it was a Philly game in Philly. So all of his, people down in Philly says, hey, why don't you and your dad come down and we'll go, you guys can come up and see a game. So we actually went to Philly and saw a game, my son and I, and we were basically lucky to get out of there alive.
I was about to say, did y'all wear Bears gear to Philly?
We wore our Bears gear.
Oh my God!
And we lost, and we got the crap beat out of us. Those were the Mitch Trubisky years.
Yeah.
With Aggie, and it was kind of a close game because our defense, will always keep us in. But I mean, the fans down there are just absolutely brutal. I mean,
Yes.
they're just it was funny as heck. But I mean, they were fun. We went downtown Philly and had cheesesteaks and stuff like that. But they're just, I mean, they're absolutely relentless out there because we try to every year we've been trying to go to an away game.
Right.
We went to Lambeau a couple years ago, and that's got to be a bucket list for any football fan to go see your team play at Lambeau.
Absolutely, I would agree with that 100%.
Yeah, and so this year we were going to go. Most of the guys decided to go to London to see the Bears game.
Oh.
Some of us couldn't go, because of scheduling and stuff like that. So the schedule comes out, we try to pick and get to an away game just to experience,
That's
some
awesome.
of that. But Philly is definitely they love their town, they love their guys over there, and it can get kind of ugly in there. So.
Oh man, that's a great story, Big Frank. Thanks for sharing that with us. My last really interested game I got are the Vikings at the Rams. Sam Darnold kind of, I don't know what. Hopefully that was just a one-off for him.
Well, what do they say? The same stuff with him. I mean, there's a reason why he's journeyman around for a while. He got himself in a great situation over there, but come to pressure, I'll tell you what, I like the Rams in this game. I really do. I think they're playing good at this point, and if you watched that game last week, and Detroit's defense is just beat the crap. I mean, they're playing third and fourth stringers sometimes, and I think their D coordinator showed the way to beat him is you just throw blitz after that guy, and really got him out of rhythm, making poor throws. So I think if you try to take that type of blueprint and do it, you can rattle him. He's got weapons, but I don't know. I think I would like the Rams in that. I think the Vikings have been a little bit overrated this year.
Agreed, 100% on that one. I'm taking the Rams too.
I like that as a game, and again, I don't like these point spread things and everything like that.
Sure.
I'm just talking about who's going to win the game. I think the Rams win that.
Nice. Well, what's interesting about the spread on this particular game is it's only a 1-point spread. So that's pretty. They're thinking that's going to be a close one, I guess.
Yeah,
I'm going Vikings.
and I think it will be too. I really do. I think the Minnesota's going to have a tough time. With them, you got Stafford's experience, their weapons. They've got receivers too. That can play. It's just a matter of I think how they can get Sam Darnold off his game again, and go from there. So.
Well, good deal. Well, Big Frank, thanks again for joining us. And
Thanks, Big
man,
Frank.
I can't wait to see what this weekend looks like, and maybe we'll have some more coaching rumors, or maybe a hire next week.
Great. We'll have a lot of stuff to talk about next week again. We'll see what's going on.
All right, thanks again, Big Frank.
Bye, Big Frank.
All right, guys. We'll see you later.
All
Take
right.
care. Have a good.
All right, you too. We'll see you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Man, it's such a great segment on your show every week when you call Big Frank.
Isn't that fun?
It's so fun.
Yeah,
I love hearing from him.
Yeah, and I feel like even if you're not like a huge football fan or something, like he's just like he's one of those guys that he can talk about it easily, and he's incredibly knowledgeable about all the teams and kind of what's going on.
Yep.
And so I just think he's been a great addition to the show.
It's super fun.
And it's funny. I was talking to Jenna the other day, text, and she was like, Big Frank was like, maybe I should fly down there sometime and be on the
Please.
show. And I'm like, yes.
Big Frank, please.
Yeah, you need to
fly
come down
and come
here.
be on the show.
We'll put you up.
It'll be
keep
great.
keep you fed. And
Yeah, man.
have plenty of beers. And
maybe we wait till ACU's playing a game and take them to a game.
yeah, maybe we could take you to a game around here, and we would love to have you in studio on the show.
Absolutely.
And then we're very close on how we're going to talk about what we've been doing around here. We're I don't want to put a time on it, but we're very close to being able to basically Skype or whatever you call Big Frank and other guests that can't be here, but we want to do a segment with. That we're going to have that technology that software very soon.
Yeah, we're in the playing phase of figuring it out.
Yeah, so
hopefully in the next month, we have lots of big plans for 2025. I've got a great list of guests that I think are really interesting and viewers will think are interesting and help tell the story of Abilene being the storybook capital of America. What are we doing here? What's our cause?
Yeah.
What are we trying to talk about? All these fun things. And then I have a fun idea for a little game show segment at the end of the Travi Wavi.
That would be cool.
Giving away some prizes.
Tell
as we
me
gain
about
some
that. What does that look
sponsorships.
like?
So as we continue to develop some sponsorships. So if you're interested in sponsoring our channel, the Neon Parrot Live channel, where we have the Breakdown with Ben, the Travi Wavi, and on Sundays, the Open Mic Live.
That's right.
Which
And
features
with the
so
stage
many
down, too.
amazing artists all the time. We got a better, I think, an improved, elevated scenario to produce and shoot content in here. If you're interested in maybe starting your own podcast, you've got something you'd like to talk about, come down and talk to Sam or Ben and I on Thursday, and we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, and I think in some way, that you and I have talked about. One day Sam got this cool equipment, and Trav's like, "Hey, well, why don't we just do a podcast?"
Yeah, why don't we do a podcast?
And to me, it's we're not playing an instrument or singing or writing poetry, but it is kind of an art form, and I think I think that's why everybody's doing it right now. Like it's just
a worthy try.
So like this is the most watched and listened to medium that there is right now. That there is that people do. They're not watching as many shows and different things like that as much as they are this, whether it be, your Joe Rogans and guys like that. But it's pretty cool, the whole podcasting situation.
I like it.
Because sometimes a lot of times when everybody's doing something, you don't want to do that thing.
Yeah.
But this, like, a lot of people play music. A lot of people write, and like this seems to be one of those things.
A lot of people run.
Yeah, a lot of people run. A lot of people work out.
Yep.
And like this is seems to be a cool wave to be on and a part of.
I agree, and it doesn't feel as scary as I thought it was gonna be. And it's kind of, I don't know, my little journey for the last. Well, we started in September,
right?
I think. And with Sam saying, all right, I got this gear, we should use it, we should start the podcast, and here we go. D. Grant was super helpful early on.
He was a big helper.
I kind of feel like he helped pull the training wheels off a little bit.
Absolutely.
For me anyway, personally.
Yeah.
And then you just being like, I want to do a sportscast, and then like just blowing up with it, bro, like having fun with it, and
absolutely
getting Big Frank on, and some of the other guests you've had on. Meech hopefully can come back.
Yeah, and that would be cool too to kind of have either a sometimes co-host or and if it goes further than that, that's great, But
he can start talking golf with you once in a while.
Yeah, well, that would be a great segment for like whenever
get the golf season on.
Whenever we get my set up, however we end up liking it, I think it'd be cool to have it to where there can always be somebody just jump on with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So maybe that's something that we could work on too. But he was great. I think
he was great,
and it was a good vibe, good flow. But
and I don't know if, go ahead.
Oh, it's okay. I was gonna, as we're just talking podcasts and stuff. Like when the football season's over, everybody's asking me, well, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Because the football thing, that's just the most popular sport in America.
Yep.
And so everybody's a little into it. But then, after that, our niche goes smaller. But, people like golf and people like baseball.
Yep.
I mean, baseball,
Basketball, you got that coming.
But college hoops, I'm excited about. I don't know. It's just kind of funny. I want to keep my show on a sports
Mm-hmm.
line, but
But you also talk a little like culture with it,
Yeah.
history with it, sort of like, it's so early on some of the questions about concussions and mental
Yeah.
health. Like,
right.
it's an interesting show.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
trying to have an element of seriousness and just inquiry
Mhm.
about what's going on in the
Mhm.
sports world
And covering our local
and our
our
local
local
stuff.
sports, it's
Yeah,
great,
so
dude.
that's really exciting. And man, this I brought a proxy worker one day on with Jonah whenever he came to help
Oh
move
yeah, yeah,
things
yeah.
around.
Yeah.
But it seems like this is so much has happened.
We've done so much work in here in the last 2 weeks, y'all. It's crazy. Producer extraordinaire Sam has an eclectic taste for things and has amassed particular qualities and quantities that needed to be re-jinged or Tetrised around
Absolutely.
to create space. But we're doing it, and
looks
we've
great.
made a lot of progress. It feels great to be up here on the stage, elevated, looking out on the B space down here at Majestic Coffee Shop on Pine Street. He's open today. Not
Yeah.
much is open downtown, but if we're gonna sit here and talk for like, I don't know, maybe like 8 hours.
Yeah.
I'm joking, but
we'll just be here.
we'll just be here.
Mr. Rogers and such. But yeah, what's really cool also, and I'm not just hyping this place, but today, it's kind of reflective
Yeah,
day,
yeah.
But this space is really neat. It's
It
cool.
is.
It's like retro downtown USA Americana,
We were
and
just discussing like 30 minutes ago out back in the old, for those of you remember, the Public House bar behind Abbey House. There's a little alcove. Now you can find Sam's bus parked there most of the time.
yeah,
But we've spent
so many years.
10-ish plus years back there just in that little alcove
Yeah.
discussing Abilene.
Yeah, that's true, man. And this building is sectioned. I guess there's one half, there's the other half, but
Mhm.
the part that is this coffee shop and everything, it used to be so many different things to us
Mhm.
and to this downtown community. Because there's, in my opinion, there's Abilene,
Yeah.
the community, and then there's downtown.
There's downtown Abilene.
And that was,
It's
we
kind of an
were
important cultural. It's
Yeah.
like the railroad tracks. There's the north side,
yeah.
and there's the south side.
Yeah, and it's interesting because you and I and Sammy and several other people that are still around.
Mhm.
There's not a lot of us around anymore, like in the area, but pivotal players and like just trying to keep let everybody know in the community that there is stuff to do downtown, even though there was only like 2 things to do.
It still was something.
It
to
was
do.
something,
Yeah.
and it was different, and it was cool. And Abbey House back in that day, in my opinion, started all this.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
I mean, you could give credit to Miss Jackson for starting Betty and June.
And Betty and June, the clothing
But
store.
Betty and June and
yeah.
Abbey House really, I think, let people know. Oh, wait, there is potential
Yeah,
to maybe do business downtown.
yeah,
Where forever you were limited with Bogies, Monks, Cypress, and I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody.
yeah. And
was
at
about
that
it.
time, for sure, Cypress Street was known as the old people restaurant.
Yep, yep. And
And,
Terry and Amanda have changed it
Yeah,
all up
they definitely
in a great way.
brought a they brought a pulse to it
Yeah.
that it really, really needed
Yeah.
because it was opened in 1993,
Mm.
I believe, and I mean it just it's the coolest building and it's a
is.
cool space and it's got a neat bar in there.
It's a great restaurant.
But it was just like not the place.
Yeah.
But it was there. But you and I don't even think we ever went there but a couple of times.
Yeah, not for a while.
And so, anyways, that's kind of cool. Not to go off on that tangent, but there is
Just
actually,
downtown Abilene has changed and grown, and
Yeah.
I've talked about that with some of my guests. You and I've just been a part of. I call it surfing downtown, just the different waves of energy that have come and gone
Yes,
over the last
yes.
dozen years or so. And like you said, this podcasting thing has become like, in a way, a new wave because we are for sure like one of many in town that are
Yeah,
of
people are starting to
podcasting.
do this.
And
Yeah,
it's
because
great.
back, not that many years ago, you'd be like, "Oh man, who's got the equipment?"
Mm-hmm.
Or like, "How do you?" And obviously, Sam just happens to be that kind of dude that was already into that for
Yep.
years, and then is able to do this in such a good way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, years ago, you'd be like, that's not something that you can do. You got to have tons of
Yep.
money or
Yep.
whatever, and doesn't it doesn't have to be that way. But
No, and there's I like to say, like, we've been able to put hodgepodge this setup together in a way.
Yeah.
We're going to continue to work out bugs and ticks and make it better. But there's also like some other I'm going to mention Howdy Media. Just down the street, they've got a
Mhm.
great setup. I have some clients that are doing a show on there that I'd love to get on my show at some point in the future.
yeah,
The Eliases. Anyway, I just think it's really cool being a part of this wave of podcasts. Is like,
and the fact that it's in downtown,
and it's
which
down
is
here in
that-
our stomping grounds.
and that's just the coolest thing because there's just something always about this that I was just that I hope I always be involved with somehow this area.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny, last night when we were getting all this set completed,
Mm-hmm.
I found some old Neon Parrot Lounge menus,
Yeah.
and that was like, it's one of those like things that you touched it, and I could feel the energy. I mean, it
Mhm.
sounds stupid, but you know what I mean. It blasts me to the
Yeah.
past
Yeah.
immediately, and I was like, and you get feelings of like, kind of sadness because those are gone,
Mm-hmm.
and then but you appreciate the memories.
Well,
you
like
know?
as you're discussing this and talking about the space, and I mean this is a historic building. We're in historic downtown Abilene, and I've always had that connection to the historic buildings in whatever town, especially here. These buildings in particular, because we've spent so much time down here over the years. But there is like this great juxtaposition between doing something that's like technologically not cutting edge, but towards that.
Yeah.
Like this has been a theater before. People have come in here and watched, I'm sure, all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Maybe it was cinema, maybe it was some live performance. People continue to come here to watch live music,
Yep.
and we'll continue to do that in the future, and performance in the future, and on and on. But now we have this ability to like capture it,
Yes.
stream it live to the World Wide Web,
Yeah.
and then it's also kind of archived
Yeah.
forever,
Yeah.
unless the Earth gets destroyed or whatever. But the idea to think like this is a medium that has more permanency
Right.
than things in the past,
Absolutely. Pretty cool, man.
and
Pretty
to
cool
be kind of
able to-
like here surfing that
Yeah.
in between of the
Absolutely.
history and the tech. I don't know. It's kind of cool.
No, I
We're
love
telling
that.
stories.
Yeah. Absolutely, dude. I hope we get more snow.
Man, I know. We're sitting here looking outside, and everything's just draped in that white blanket. We didn't get any snow last year in Abilene.
No, and me and my lovely lady this morning when those big snow were talking, and I was like, around here in the north, this is like a nuisance. This is like, oh, it's that part of the year.
Gotta shovel again.
But for us, it's almost like a cleansing thing or a
Mhm.
peaceful thing
Mhm.
because it's just something we don't
Yeah.
get very much, and it's cool. And then it'll be a muddy mess in a couple of days, but whatever.
We need the moisture.
On precipitation, I've got a fun fact for you
Heard.
that human beings can smell freshly rained on grass better than sharks can smell blood.
Really?
That's a fact. How about that?
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, so that smell is so
Oh, I almost had the word for that.
whatever
I
that
can't
is.
remember what it is.
Yeah, but that we can smell that better than sharks can smell blood swimming in the water.
Wow, dude.
How crazy is that?
That's crazy.
So like something about
I wonder why
precipitation
we
and
I wonder
grass.
why we evolved to have that scent be so dominant
right?
for us.
That's kind of the first thing I had thought of. I was like, man, that's an interesting fun fact, but why?
Yeah,
You
why
know?
would we want to know that? Maybe yeah, why would we want to know that?
Yeah, maybe.
Interesting. Because we have to have water to survive.
But being
Heard.
on the grass and stuff, maybe it's like that tells us that there's like fertile ground that we can plant something in or something.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the purpose. I don't know.
That's interesting.
But that's kind of a fun fact.
Or maybe it means because fungus is going to grow and we have the opportunity to eat a mushroom.
It could be. It could be that. It absolutely could be that. But yeah, that's my fun fact of the day. And then I felt like there was another one. Oh yeah, apparently, you know that show Cheers?
Who doesn't know Cheers?
Yeah, where everybody knows
Unless
your
you're
name.
Born after 2000.
Yeah, and so Cheers, apparently, like everybody on the cast hated Woody Harrelson. He was like
Really?
a real asshole. Yeah. So I read that the other day too.
Oh, Woody, what happened?
Yeah, but then after that, I mean, I think he's
Maybe
got lots
guy.
of friends.
Maybe
and
he
he's
quit
pretty
drinking
chill.
and just started smoking.
Yeah, maybe so. But yeah, so that's a fun fact. But not that sometimes the shark in the water
Yeah,
deal.
those are good.
That would just randomly
Yeah,
popped in my
that's
head.
good.
So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna throw that one out here.
Those are good.
But-
So what are some of you? We talked a little bit of goals for 2025 as a holistic channel and our individual channels. What else do you kind of foresee or expect or hope for our channel as we grow it?
I would like to, be able to continue to make this space multi-purpose too. Like I think
mhm.
that's exciting because that's kind of been on the track that we've been on. What all we've done to it, and you guys have done to it, and I can just see, as far as our shows go, is one thing, but like you said, being able to have a crowd with music, maybe being able to have an event during our show, that could be along the lines of sponsors or whatnot, but to where we could have people not just in an audience, but kind of more of where it's like a hangout situation.
Yeah,
And that could encourage some more live studio audience members.
I like it.
And maybe that could be an incentivized situation. Like, hey, come, not that we're begging people to come watch our show, because I have at least 50 people live in studio
all
every
the
time I do the
at least
breakdown.
50.
But those are paid employees.
Yeah,
so that's where all the money's gone to, right? So what I'm saying here is we have some kind of deal here, and maybe it's we cook some food or do some barbecue or something and have coffee, maybe a BYOB situation. I don't know. I have to get with the boss man about all that. But to where we could be doing our shows and it could be an interactive sort of kind of thing for all of us and some extra people. And then it just kind of gets more people in the coffee shop and across the street and everywhere else. I just think we have an opportunity here to kind of step back into the downtown world and continuing to create buzz, because as these businesses downtown have ebbed and flowed, there's a couple of ones. We mentioned Cypress Street earlier, but Vagabond Pizza with Jason and Jessica Adams.
Doing a great job.
They've been here for
I think coming up on 8 years.
They're coming
maybe?
up on 8
I
years.
hope I got that right, guys.
And like that is a staple downtown.
Yeah.
And you've had things come and go around it, but it's been there.
Yep. And Grain
And
Theory
Grain
celebrated
Theory,
4 years.
4 years, and I have I wish them the best, and they're
Absolutely.
doing a great thing. And Rob, the chef over there, is doing a great job too. And this isn't a bang on them, but if something were to happen to them, that building that has been built, the Modus building, is gonna house something else
will.
cool.
Yep, because it got
And
a
it's-
beautiful facelift remodel.
Yeah, and so that's pretty sweet, because that to me, that Modus building, and I love you, Grain Theory, and y'all are going to be there for a million years. It's going to be awesome.
Yes.
But that building that's a future situation. That for the next 30 whatever years, there's going to be able to be cool restaurants or whatever in there.
Tiffany and Daniel did a great job.
And
on
not to
that.
mention all the boutiques downtown underneath that building, and then the old, across the street from the old Abbey House, there's
the
one
Soda
over there.
District and all the different things that are happening over there.
Yeah, in the Soda District. I'm kind of a hater.
Well, that's because we're Northsiders, but
Yeah, I'm not a hater.
Let's give them love.
They just, somebody opened up a beer garden over there. I guess people should go check that out. But it's funny, and it's truly just a silly thing, because I'm such a North Side. I'm an OG Downey
Got a rep,
Townie,
baby. We got a rep.
and they they basically developed the area across the railroad tracks,
Mhm.
Soda District, south of downtown Abilene, and I don't know. I just
It's great over there. People like
it's
it.
cool. People like
They
it.
don't
and
need
we're
my
OG
money, but
downtowners.
I'll give it to them every once in a while.
Yeah, no, but good for them, and I hope they continue to grow too.
Yep.
But another local Abilene business that me and my lovely lady went to last weekend on Friday last week. I think that's what it was. We went to the Beehive
Oh yeah.
down here. That's another one that's just
Beehive,
kind of
yep.
over
Yep.
a street beyond Cypress that you know,
And they've been downtown for a while.
they've been there for a long time,
Yeah.
and I don't think to go there because it's just right outside
Yeah.
of my should I go there thing.
A lot of
but-
people love the Beehive.
But dude, we had a 10-ounce fillet, and it was probably, if you've had a great steak, you've had a great steak, and they're all similar because they're just really damn good.
Mhm.
And there's not a whole lot of them, but that was one of the better steaks I've had in my memory.
Nice.
And so that's another one. And we're promoting for free, all
free.
these businesses. We're plugging
So
you.
don't forget to sponsor
So
us
if
businesses
if you
downtown.
hear about this and you want to do something,
We got some fun opportunities for
we
you
got
coming
good
up.
opportunities for sponsorships and stuff.
Yep.
But we're also gonna shout out at times these different businesses if we have a good experience there,
Absolutely.
and go ahead and say, hey, listeners, go check this out.
Well,
you
and in
know?
general, we're supporters of the 325. We
Yeah.
want to see more live music here, inside and outside. We want to see more podcasts here.
Yeah.
I'm a local tattoo artist with a private studio, and I've watched that blow up over the last 15 years, and that's wonderful. I think just, slow down on the face and hand tattoos, kids.
Yeah, take it easy.
That's me, Grandpa Trav, Pappy
Take
Trav,
it
talking a
easy
little
with
bit.
the
Just,
face and hand
can we
tats.
slow down a little bit on that, please?
Man, geez Louise.
A great business opportunity would probably be some more laser removal.
Yeah,
and
there
we
you
have
go.
some good ones in town, but that's a
Yeah.
rabbit hole segue.
Yeah, it is. But man, face tats and hand tats, take it easy, people.
Take it easy, friends. Take
But
it easy.
that's gonna.
Slow
I don't know how
down.
well that's gonna age.
I don't think very well, but that's I've been watching tattoos age now for 15 years.
That's right.
Yep.
And it's funny on tattoos, and you and I have talked about this before, and this is, maybe other listeners that are into tattoos know this too, but it's still fun to talk about. You can age somebody by their artwork, even if it's
Absolutely.
really good and the ink's held
Yep.
up well and
Yep.
it's aged well, because all ink ages, like we know. But the tribal, like you're 50 now.
Pretty much. Yeah, you got a tribal armband.
Yeah, or like you're pushing
I
50.
bet Big Frank might have a tribal armband.
You
Big
know,
Frank?
I don't know
If you were to get one, you might think about
if
that
Frank,
tribal armband.
if Big Frank got a tattoo, it would be a Bears tattoo.
It would
if he
be a
has one,
Bears tattoo,
because
of course.
some of his family members have gotten Bears tattoos.
Yeah.
That's when you know that it's the shit's
right.
serious.
But
Okay.
if you're like my age or older, I'm 46 now, you probably have, if you got a tattoo at 18, it's very, very possible you got tribal. And if
Or
you're
barbed
female,
wire.
tribal tramp stamp.
Yeah, and
Or the little anklet thing.
yeah, the anklets, and a big one that I remember is the barbed wire. If you're a part of the West Texas area,
Oh, yeah.
every dude had a barbed wire tattoo
Mm-hmm.
around the arm, and that
Mhm.
was just the thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And had I got one younger, I probably would have barbed wire somewhere
Yep.
on me right now.
I want to segue off the tattoo thing because I'm going to say something. I'm going to lose like all my clients.
That's funny. That's right. That could be bad because we're just trashing.
We're just trashing right now, so
Yeah.
gotta be careful. But yeah, if you're looking for some nice custom work, give me
Yeah.
a shout,
them. This
y'all.
is your guy. This
Got
is your
you.
guy.
Got some really fun projects going on right now.
You
too,
know what
so-
else is cool about tattoos and the evolution of the everything.
Mhm.
It seems like maybe 5, but definitely 10 years ago, anybody that was getting a tattoo was like, "Oh, I'm going to Dallas. I'm
Or
going to
going to San
Austin,
Antonio."
or I'm going to San Antonio," because it was like a tattoo artist in this size community just isn't good enough
Oh yeah.
to
was
give
that
me a
mentality,
tattoo,
yeah.
so I'm gonna go to big city and get it from some dude that's probably got 100 people that he's doing flash on that
Mhm.
day, And like, okay, he's great or whatever, but that stigma,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion, is gone.
Well, okay, so yeah, two things about that. I agree with that stigma has changed for sure.
Uh-huh.
Well, and also because it's become so much more popularized across the board. Everybody wants a tattoo,
Yeah.
even more, which I think is crazy. But we see it so much more with social media and publications and television. We see tattoos of varying qualities.
Right.
And so whether some people are going to dive into that and want whatever a higher quality tattoo is to them.
Yeah.
And I just read recently that San Antonio is the #1 place in America for it has the best reviews for highest quality artists. And to be honest, most of the workshops that I've gone to over the years have been in San Antonio.
San Antonio.
And hosted by San Antonio artists, where they brought in other people from
and the
around,
other
but
thing, if
great.
I may interrupt, is that my boy here, Trav, does continue. You do yourself continuing education over the years
always
in the form of not just what's the new hot gear, but like going and seeing other artists and what they do. And I think a lot of people, whether you're in a big city or not, and with all artists, like we've talked in the past, whether it's a martial artist, a tattoo artist, or a musician,
or painter,
or a painter, any
sculptor,
kind of art
whatever.
form,
dancer.
there's a lot of
Writer.
ego. There's a lot of ego
be.
involved, and there is a lot of insecurity.
Mm-hmm.
I can say that as a martial arts instructor. There's a lot of insecurity, and with that, it's like, oh, who can kick whose ass?
Yeah.
And I'm down the street, and then you've got guys that are like pushing 65 that just never grew up out of that, and they're still like a new martial arts facility comes in, and some old man's like, "I'll kick your ass" or whatever. That's weird.
It is.
And the same with the tattoos. It's like there's this kind of that ego thing with artists in the community. But you put yourself out there and you go see these things and say, "Oh man, that guy's got a cool style."
Yep.
And that's how you've met some of the artists that have done your work as well.
That's true.
And I'm just speaking nothing you don't know. But for the listeners here, I don't know that. I think it's somewhat prevalent, but I don't know if a lot of other artists, especially after doing it for a time, are still into like going and immersing themselves.
You probably
in
have
these
a mixed bag. You've got all sort. I mean, whatever. There's no two are alike, right? So everybody's journey is a little different too. But speaking about like the culture in Abilene around tattoos, it's changed. It's changed drastically around. We're such a religious community, and that it's changed. The church has become more accepting, or the people in the church.
Well, you're doing religious tattoos
all the time.
Boom.
Yeah. The Air Force has changed its policy. We've got a large airmen and women population here, so it allowed them to get more tattoos.
Medical, even.
Let's see. Yeah. The police and fire department changed their regulations a few years
Man,
back.
you used to tattoo a lot of cops. You still tattoo cops?
I still do tattoo some cops from time to time.
That's cool.
I tattoo everybody.
Right, right.
It's
just that's kind of cool in a way.
I've got a wonderful woman. I'll keep her anonymous, but she had a double mastectomy, and we're doing a beautiful chest piece garden scar cover up. It's gonna be great.
That's really cool, and that's one of those meaningful.
Got a fireman coming in tomorrow to kind of finish touching up something. Had hopefully one of our future sponsors come in yesterday for some touch-up work.
That's
You're gonna
right.
see,
That's right.
Cody Kelly on Dancing with the Stars next week. So
Dancing with the Abilene Stars.
With Abilene Stars.
All right, so let me interrupt.
Yeah.
Because we're not on a time crunch today.
We're doing whatever we want.
So, do you remember when we went to Dancing with the Abilene Stars that one time?
I told Kelly about it yesterday with the
God.
Edelmans, with Britt. And Brittany's like one of the main choreographers now for Dancing with the
really?
Stars.
So she's still really involved?
She's still doing it.
Okay, that's great. So they had a bunch of babies, so we don't see them as much anymore.
Well, yeah.
But the Edelmans,
this is just Chris Edelman. This is your second shout out on this channel.
Oh.
Just think about us.
Yeah, I'm going to send this to you because I still got your number, bro.
Because Kelly shouted you out, too, back on his
that's right. But, yeah, Brittany was that was the first year that she, that...
They just kind of moved here.
Yeah, they had just moved here, and So she invited us, and I hadn't been to like a social gathering like that since I lived in Midland, and it was like the Petroleum Club,
Mm-hmm.
country club
Mhm.
thing, you know, with all those folks.
Yep.
So like,
Little hobnobbing.
it was fun, and then I think Brittany like revealed, like did a gender reveal or something on her dance. I think she was pregnant, maybe.
I think maybe.
But
yeah.
anyways, it was the coolest thing.
It was fun.
But you know, that was the first time, and like I'm not trying to make myself sound any kind of way, but growing up in Midland and family in the oil business, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like I mean, we did like stuff like that, going to different things,
Mhm.
but that was, I felt awkward.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but everybody was very nice.
Mm-hmm.
But it had been a minute since I'd been to a deal like that.
Yep.
And it's for a good cause.
Yep.
The Abilene Dancing with the Stars, free plug, is I think it's a nonprofit, and they basically are you know, raising money for some benefit. I don't know which one it is, but it's for a good cause. But anyways, whenever I would at that time I did ads in the Abilene Scene magazine.
Mm-hmm. I remember those.
That was so expensive.
Yep.
Like,
It's a beautiful magazine.
it's a beautiful magazine, but it's one of those. I'm going to think of the descriptive term of these types of community members and residents that go to all the benefits.
It's networking.
And
It's networking, and
Yeah.
we're not trying to poop on networking
no.
or
I'm just saying, I was a hermit in a garden for a long time, and
Yeah.
when I got out and saw that again, it was just, I was like, you know.
yeah,
But
little social anxiety.
But yeah, you go to the things, and it's all they're all doing good stuff. But the Abilene Scene magazine, which was very cool, that was so expensive. And now I think about a magazine, which I'm glad that is still out.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I probably wouldn't think to spend that kind of money on an advertisement through that when we have all these other.
When we have the
All these
Travi
other
Wavi and the
things.
breakdown with
Yeah,
Ben
we have these
open mic
kinds
night
of
live
of mediums to get stuff out there.
Yeah.
And just thinking, like, that was 10 years ago,
Mhm,
probably,
mhm.
and just how things have evolved. And the magazine's still there. And there's, you know
and it
what?
looks beautiful on every like dentist and orthodontist and doctor's office table.
Yeah.
We're-
Yeah, and
but-
there's a new magazine coming out, a new
Okay.
Abilene magazine. And, okay, it's 2025 now, so
Okay.
it's still relevant.
I mean, I've
You
been
know?
kicking around the bucket with Sam about maybe we do enter some print again, just because
Yeah.
like every
It better be
Zine,
cheaper now. That's
you
all I
know,
can tell
I
you.
just think about like the 90s and the early 2000s when you could still go to a coffee shop and there'd be that local like
Yes.
newspaper or Zine that like told you who's playing where, what, interesting things. Maybe someone's got an art exhibit, little, maybe a poem, maybe just some interesting little content.
So, Sammy, can you hear me? Yeah. What was the name of the magazine? Blues and Rock Gazette. Is that still a thing? Okay, so back in this about around
Yep,
that time,
yep.
there was a Blues and Rock Gazette
Remember that.
they would go and hand out to all the local bars and coffee
Mhm.
shops, and maybe there needs to be resurgence.
I'm
of that.
wondering. I'm just wondering.
Because everything's kind of going full circle, and you know,
Mhm.
like, print is cooler now, vinyl is cooler
That's
now,
right. It's
because
tactile.
because this stuff has become so accessible.
Well, and like, the phone thing, it's like you can blast whatever you want on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, and like I personally feel like my algorithms that go out to the community hit like 8 people. And I'm like, no one even sees what I'm posting.
Yeah.
And then if I do, like if all of a sudden a hit got like 97 views or something,
Yeah.
I'm like, why did that hit and not this other content when they're the basically similar content,
Yeah.
It's like something about I'm grateful to live in this community. Here are my family, and I'm happy to be a working artist, and so that gets 97 views. Or, hey, I'm an artist, come buy some Christmas gifts from me. Nobody looks at it.
Right.
So I think the algorithm's somewhat to blame for some of that. And
Yeah.
I don't feel like that's a good way to get a message out, where maybe
Yeah.
print, someone might pick that up. I don't know.
No, I like that topic because I think it's very relevant in a lot of different areas because, like, in school, I've got kids that are in high school. You've got kids that are in high
Mhm.
school. Um, the things that I'm reading to help my son with some of his educational stuff is it's like paper is power
Mm-hmm.
and like write it down
Yep.
and all the stuff that like that used to be just a thing because you had to do that.
Yep.
And then it's funny because some old technology, old ways of doing things are actually they're there for a reason, and that's kind of cool.
I
you
agree
know?
with that. I've learned that both on my journaling journey,
Yeah,
as
that's
I've
right.
started
You've been
journaling
doing
the last
that.
few years and
Yeah.
trying to make that a discipline. Fundamentally fabulous. Can't recommend it enough. But
Yeah.
it's tough to sit down and put pen to paper every day,
Yeah.
organize your thoughts. But, as an artist, I will use digital technology as a tool to help me transfer, my idea to whatever I need to do in my process. But like going back to tattooing, it's become so common to do everything on the iPad to the printer, and then the only time you're actually touching the lines is with your machine to
Yeah.
make it permanent. And I have always liked the idea of, even if it's something that you print off and say, hey, I want this parrot to look just like this, cool. But I'm still going to at least make a stencil out of that thing so I get to touch it
Yeah.
once
Yeah.
before
Exactly.
I make it permanent.
That makes a lot of sense.
I do think so what I'm saying is the pen is mightier than the sword in the
Right.
sense that you can keep, I don't know, muscle memory, communication. I don't know where I'm going with that.
No, I think that makes perfect sense, man. It does.
How long have we been chatting up here,
Yeah.
Sam?
Where
It's
we
got to be
at?
like a world record.
Oh wow,
Frickin' yeah, bruh.
dude, that sounds like a good time to maybe wrap up.
Okay, so let's go back and we're going to plug your show for next Thursday, Breakdown with Ben.
Breakdown with Ben. Come on, guys.
My show next Thursday, the Travi Wavi.
Absolutely.
And then Sunday nights, about 7 or 8, Sam gets started with the open mic live. The Songwriters open mic, and that is hosted by Terry Knight.
Absolutely. And you've had
if
her
you,
on.
Yeah, you
She's
can
great.
scroll back and see her. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe. That's one of our goals. Is
Yeah.
we need 500 subscribers.
Yeah.
We do.
If we could get some more subscription, that'd be great. And hit the little like
comment,
button. Tell us how much you love us.
Yeah, tell us how much you think we were silly.
Yeah, or that.
And then on our channel right now, everything is on the live.
Yeah.
And we're hoping to be able to move some or most of that content to the homepage so that it looks like we actually have content. But on the live, clearly we have posted content nonstop since September.
Yeah, absolutely. And man, thanks again, Big Frank, for joining us.
Thank you,
As
Big
per
Frank.
usual, you're always got great stories. Philly story, you
Yeah.
know. Thanks to our producer extraordinaire, Sam Wolf.
Thank you, Sam Wolf.
He's without him, we couldn't do this.
Come down Thursday mornings about 9 or 10 o'clock. Grab yourself a coffee,
Yeah, and
a muffin, and sit down and watch us.
think there's going to be gelato here soon.
That's what I hear.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
That's cool.
I need to stay away from it, but I encourage everybody else to eat it. But anyways, yeah, man, this has been so fun. I'm glad we got to do this today, and I can't wait for the future and the growth of all this stuff. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be cool.
And still got Cotton Warehouse shows coming after the winter.
I think so. We definitely took this month off and probably next month.
Yeah, because I mean, it's hit or miss with. It's going to be cold, so.
But we'll sit down as a team and figure out what we want to do for March and what date, and then we'll get some shows lined up. Also, keep looking out for some other things happening here at the Neon Parrot Live Studios at Majestic Coffee Shop. Some live theater performance, some live music, stand-up comedy, karaoke.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm missing some ideas that Sam has, but
I think
there's a
Sam
plethora.
was saying there's going to be a live production of the Vagina Monologues.
That's actually a really good show. It's hilarious. If you've never seen the Vagina Monologues, it sounds.
I just can't believe. I'm like a name of a play that sounds absurd.
It's like I think it's a number of characters. It might be a one-woman show. I can't remember. But
I think it's
like,
a one.
It's just all these snippets. It's like almost poetry.
That's funny.
But it is really
okay.
good.
Maybe I
will watch that one.
Okay, I had to do that.
It's been around since like '85.
That's awesome. Well, cool, man. Well, thanks again.
Thank you, brother. Thanks for
Absolutely.
we broke in the stage today a little bit.
We did.
Yep. All right. We'll see you guys next time. Signing off from the Travi Wavi in Abilene,
And the
Texas.
breakdown.
And the breakdown.
Y'all have a good one.
Have a good one, everybody. Stay warm out there.
Stay warm. Let's get some more snow.
More
We love the
snow.
snow. It's kind of fun.